Yo, welcome back to another exciting head-scratching episode of Insane Disappearances. I got a very creepy yet very strange story for you tonight, or case, actually. And this one comes right out of West Virginia. I actually stayed in Virginia for a good little while. Graduated my senior year in high school there. Very beautiful place, very woody, very foresty, very old-fashioned. Got a lot of areas in Virginia that's old-fashioned. Some places have been probably standing for like hundreds of years. So there's a lot of history in Virginia. I remember when I lived in Reston, Virginia. I was traveling to Herndon, Virginia for something. Can't remember what. Might have just been going to the store. It was a slave shack on the side of the road. I mean, granted, I actually thought it was a doghouse, but when I realized how big it was, I know that couldn't have been a doghouse. It was shaped like one, but it was definitely a slave shack. Very surprising, I might add. I've never seen one up close and personal. I've only seen one in movies. I don't even think I've seen them in movies, but I did see one on the hit TV show. A Different World. Yeah, A Different World. But anyway, guys, like I said, today's video is going to be about a mauling of a young woman in Goochland, Virginia. Now, Goochland Sheriff described the grisly scene after woman. After a woman mauled to death by her pit bulls. To me, in my head, it just kind of seemed like it was worded differently. But anyway, now this woman from Goochland County in Virginia was a 22-year-old woman. Her name, my friends, is Bethany Lynn Stevens. This woman was mauled to death in what the Goochland County Sheriff described as a grisly scene. Actually, she's from Glen Allen, Virginia, but the area is Goochland County. Now, Bethany Lynn Stevens. Her body was discovered by Goochland deputies about 8:20 p.m. Thursday in a wooded area near the 2200 block of Mannequin Road. Now, just so you know, the place where she was mauled at was not too far away from where she lived. But I'll get to that part towards the end. I got something to tell you about that part. Okay, now her body was being guarded by two very large, brindle-colored pit bull dogs. Now the sheriff, whose name is James L. Agnew. Now, this is the one thing that he said during a news conference on Friday. Now, Agnew said the dogs were Stevens's, and he suspected that they had something to do, with that. I'm gonna get to that part too towards the end. Now, he also believes that those two dogs were bred for fighting. Now, the initial reports from the medical examiner's office said Stevens, whom Agnew described as petite, 5'1", and 125 pounds, had a cause of death consistent with with being mauled by these dogs. Now, she had defensive wounds on her hands, arms, and it appeared that she was alive when the animal was attacked. Now, the first traumatic injury to her was to her throat and face. Now, we all know that when a dog or any other animal, even a cat, goes after their prey, they go straight for the throat first, then go like that with their mouth to break the neck. That way they die quickly. That way they won't have to put up a struggle. Now, this is what Agnew said. Reading from the initial autopsy reports or results. Let's see now. It appears she was taken to the ground, lost consciousness, and the dogs then mauled her to death. This is what he was saying. This is what the reports were saying. The autopsy reports. Oh, excuse me, guys. Sorry about that. Now, it was not a homicide. Now, this is the one thing that Agnew said first. It was an absolutely grisly mauling. Now, this is something else that he also said. During that press conference. In my nearly 40 years in law enforcement, I've never seen anything quite like it. Now, and he also said, I hope I never see anything like it again. Now, Stephen's father had called the sheriff's office after he hadn't seen his daughter in a day. I'm pretty sure she was one of those daughters that always kept in contact with their fathers or their family alone, or came over to the house, frequently. So he had every right to say what he said. Now, while she had a Glen Allen address, Stevens grew up in Goochland and frequently walked the dogs in the wooded area where her body was found, which was near an old family farm. Okay. Now, her father went looking for his daughter. And encountered the dogs aggressively protecting the body. Agnew said it took deputies 4 hours to wrangle the dogs, which he estimated each weighed as much as Stevens did. Now, Henrico County Animal Control was called for assistance to provide tranquilizers to subdue the dogs. The scene was strewn with blood and articles of clothing. Agnew said deputies spent 8 hours collecting more than 60 pieces of evidence. Now, the dogs are being held at Goochland County Animal Control. Agnew said they were seeking to have the animals euthanized. Now, the families did order for the dogs to be euthanized, so that did happen. Earlier, I didn't know if they did or not because I didn't get a chance to read the whole story. I just heard it from a friend that looked it up for me. Well, not looked it up, but she stumbled onto it. Okay, now let's go back to the beginning of this story, how everything went down. We're talking about a woman who was taking a little walk in the woods or in the forest. And then something obviously happened. Now, in other reports, the autopsy people were saying, or the investigators were saying, that when they went back to her home, they came upon the what do you call those things for dogs? The kennel. Looked like it had been, I guess, somehow gnawed open. It looked like they escaped from the kennel. Now, their assumption on this is saying that they broke out of the kennel and ran after her. Now, first of all, they said that she was taking a walk in that area because she frequently did that on a daily basis. How do they even know they got out of the kennel? Yes, it looked like they must have done that. But how do you know when they actually did that? She was out there on a walk. So you mean to tell me they were so mad at the fact that she never walked them? And I think in one of the other reports they said that she, didn't walk them a lot. So maybe they got a little mad, saying, you know what, that bitch ain't walked us in days. We gonna fix this. So they break out of the kennel and they run towards her, picking up her scent. Then they jumped on her, gnawed her to death, and sat there to guard her body. Now, when they said they got up to about like 60 items of evidence, never once did they say, well, other than the fact that they found, blood in the area along with fragments of clothes strewn about. Never once did they say that the dog's mouths were covered in blood and tissue, or even hair, because that's mainly what they were going for. The neck, the body, where they said that she was mauled to death, so obviously they were going for the body as well. But they never got inside the body. They weren't going for anything because they weren't trying to kill her. They didn't do it. Okay, they said that they ran after her and mauled her to death. Why? How do you know that? Were you there? Did you see all this happen? Like I said before, there was no mention of blood or tissue or even hair around their mouths. No, they didn't say that. So how can you say all this stuff and say that, okay, this is what happened, like you were there? Yeah, sure. Anyway, another piece. They got me. Was, okay, let's kind of make a little scenario here. She goes out there. She's going for a walk. The dogs got an idea to maul her to death, so they broke out of the kennel and ran after her, picking up her scent, like I said before. Here's what I think, because I don't believe none of that crap. She goes out for a walk. While she's out there, something happened. Something she encountered that was so frightening. She screamed at the top of her lungs. And it was already out there. So it saw her. And she saw it. Whatever it was. She starts to scream when it came at her and probably started attacking her. And obviously mauling her to death, trying to eat her. Way back over there, which went too far, the dogs hear her screaming. I mean, she's their owner. They know her voice, right? I would think. They were getting a little antsy because their master was, or their pack leader was being attacked. They knew it. So they broke out. Because of the love they have for their owner, their pack leader. They break out in the kennel. They run to her aid. Hold on, guys. What's up, bud? I'm at the house. I'm in the middle of making a video right now. Oh, you coming from a club or something? Well, man, I tell you what. I'm almost done. As soon as I finish, I will call you right back. Okay? Alright. Sorry about that, guys. That was my best friend. She was coming from a club. Apparently, it's the weekend. So, yeah. But anyway. Okay, let's get back to the story. They hear her. But by the time they got there, she was already dead. Here's the crazy part. How did they know that she was dead before she hit the ground? How did they know that? Were they there? Did they have cameras out there? Did they show? Did they have some footage of what was going on? Because they always have those track cameras out there. Where hunters can, take pictures or record animals walking through the area or whatever. Now, if they had that, that's one thing. But they didn't mention that either. But somehow they knew that all that stuff happened. She hit the ground she died before she hit the ground. And I'm guessing they were talking about because of the puncture wounds at the top of her head. So they probably nicked the wrong spot in her brain and it killed her. I don't know. Or she may have bled to death. I don't know. But, like I said, how in the hell can you know all this stuff and you weren't even there to see all this? Makes no sense. But, if the dogs got there before she did, if the dogs got there and was too late, that's why they were sitting there guarding her body the way they were. Not because they were mauling her to death. There was no blood on their mouth. They got there too late. So whatever was already out there had already killed her and probably was actually ready to eat her, but they never got the chance because they heard the dogs coming. And obviously they didn't want to get caught. And when I said they, I don't mean humans. Just so you know. You know how I do. Whatever it was, got scared. Didn't want to get found out because it probably thinks like a human. And it got away. So by the time they got there, whatever this thing was gone. Here's what I think. We're talking about a foresty area, very thick in the brush. Okay, we got all these cryptic creatures that's roaming around the earth, coming through from different levels through a portal. So I'm thinking that something that was feeding in that area saw her, got hungry, and went after her. Didn't get a chance to eat her because the dog saved her from getting eaten, but wasn't there in time for her to be saved because she was already dead. So she probably died from severe trauma from that attack. I don't know. But they didn't mention everything. They never did. They said clothes were strewn about, so that means her clothes were ripped off. That means her body was bare. So there's another scenario about that, with the clothes missing from the body and all that stuff. And like I said, this was not an animal from this plane, from this level. It wasn't those dogs, for one, I can tell you that. What out there could have done it? Are there any loose mountain lions? Couldn't be, because first of all, if a mountain lion is going for any kind of person with meat in their body, they're going straight for the stomach, because that's where the nutrients are, the protein. They eat that stuff. So they go for this. They scoop it out, and they chew it and eat it, and they're done. And they may chew at the body, but they don't eat it. They don't devour it, like I said before. And none of that stuff was missing. None of this. So that means the animal from this plane didn't do it. It had to been something else, some other kind of predator that we know nothing about from another parallel Earth. My friends, if you read this story or listen to what I was saying about this woman, you would probably say the same thing yourself. Wouldn't you? Think about it. How did they know all that? I've mentioned before that they do these things to put the mind at ease, the parents and the families and all that stuff and the friends, everybody that knew her. They do stuff like that so they wouldn't have to worry. But in actuality, if they find something, they cover it up. They say whatever they need to say because they know they're going to believe it. It's coming from professionals. That's what they have in their head. If we're professionals. We can tell them anything, they're going to believe it because they know this is our field. This is what we do. Wrong. They may believe you, but what about the other people? They got open mind. They know about all this stuff of things that could happen out there and these creatures that we do. They know about the missing 411 cases. They know about wormholes. They know about cryptic creatures that you never actually get a chance to see, but you hear about all the time. So obviously somebody's seen it, and that story that they told trickled down through history to where they knew about the animal, but they didn't know what they ate, they didn't know what they did, they didn't know how they survived, they didn't know none of that. They just know that this was a creature, and they described it. They knew what it looked like. That's why they call them dog man or goat man or Bigfoot or whatever. They're being described, not talked about. Because if they were talked about, they would talk about the things that they do, how they breed, how they eat, what they do to get what they need to eat. All that stuff will be talked about. Therefore, you'll know what to do in a situation like so. But you don't hear that. You just hear the name of the creature. That's all you hear. Period, point blank. So, because of that, you ain't got nothing else to say about it, so you add stuff to it. They say, oh, mountain lion did this. A dog did this. They did. They do that because this information that they get from these cryptid creatures, they are never talked about. It's too creepy. They would probably thinking they're gonna lose their credibility if they put that crap out there, so it never makes it to the news. It never does. But all I'm saying is, my friends, this case is weird. Very weird. And it's mysterious. And it's creepy. And do I think it is one of the missing 411 cases? Maybe. Because of the mysteriousness of what happened to her. An unknown creature mauls her to death. Probably was trying to eat her, but didn't get that opportunity because the dogs basically kept that from happening. But of course they were too late, But like I said, there's that part. So it's got to be some other kind of creature that's doing it. How did she die? The mauling, because it shows. But there's also talk about the fact that her body was obviously somewhat bare, because they said there was clothes streamed about. It's not like she was carrying a backpack on her. They just said she was out there for a walk. So that would mean she was partially clothed. And was it a marshy area? Was it near a swamp? They didn't mention that part. They just said she was in the woods somewhere. So, of course, that's a dry area. But it's those other little tidbits that go along with the stories and the criteria that David Paulides looks for. And another thing that makes me say that this got to be a missing 411 case is the mystery of how the dumb behind investigators knew all that stuff. And they weren't even there. How do you go to bed at night doing crap like that? Coming up with all this crap to say so everybody wouldn't try to figure out that something weird is going on. Now her friend did, Barbara. She figured it out. She knows that something ain't right. She knows that they telling a story because they obviously don't know what the hell they talking about. But that's what they do. If it's a weird case, it never makes it to the news. And if it's a weird case, it never gets put out there for you to know about. And it's never put in the report. The families never find out about it. The friends never find out about it. The parents don't find out. Nobody finds out about all that crap. Nobody. Because it is a weird story. They don't want to deal with weird stories or weird cases that have these kind of, all that stuff in it. They just want a regular case. But when they find it, what do? They say, oh, homicide. This one over here, drowned. This one over here, hypothermia. That one over there. Well, we don't know. We can't find the cause of death yet, but we'll find out. And when they do, they come up with some asinine reason why they died. Probably said they were having sex and he had a heart attack because it was too much for him. Now, if they said that, I really would have known they were crazy. Even though I already do know they're crazy, but I'm just saying something like that. Come on, dude. Well, okay, like I said, think about all that. Let it swim in your brain. And you tell me what you think about that case. Do you think it was the dogs? Or do you think it was some other kind of animal that does not come from this plane? It came through a portal because they have the brain or the mind of a human, or they think like one. They know how we are. They know how we act. They know what we're gonna say when it comes to something like this that happens. Why a creature would know that, I don't know. But I've been hearing that they do think like a human sometimes, which is the reason why they can get around the way they do without getting caught. They're very good at hiding themselves. And in this case, they're very good at covering their tracks. And you wouldn't think that a creature would do something like that, but obviously they do. If they got enough brains to open up a wormhole and walk right through it to come here, they gotta be. I'm just saying. IJS. Big letters. I'm just saying. I mean, what you gonna do? You hear about it, you talk about it, you put it on insane disappearances, but you still don't know what happened. So you got to come up with all these theories. And those theories, 9 times out of 10, is the truth. And you already know that one of my theories already came true on my channel. The woman I interviewed, 37,000 views. Does that ring a bell? Anybody? Anybody? You? What about you? And you over there? Yeah, you got it. You know what I'm talking about. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna end this video. I gotta call my buddy back because she likes to talk on her way home to me because my best friend. That's how we do. That's how we handle things. Anyway, I just want to thank you guys for coming out today and watch this video, and I hope you like it, and I hope your brains pop from thinking about how this woman died or what killed her. That's the correct way to say it. But anyway, think about it. Comment me, and the next time I do a live video, we can talk about it. I don't know when I'm gonna do another one, but I'll think about it. I was thinking about doing one tonight about this, but comment section below, hit me up. All right, aloha, mahalo, and a hui ho. Peace out, brother. Peace out, wahine.